Guys, I'll tell you what, it's a good thing that I do not use a teleprompter when I do these reports because I can't see 2 feet in front of me without my glasses, and that's my problem, my dilemma today. I don't know where I put my glasses down. I do this about every other day. Now, I can recite stats from last week, from last year. I can tell you point spread trends. I can remember baseball cards, and I memorized the back of still from 1972, the first year that I collected cards. And I've got like 30,000 cards. You point a card out, I can probably tell you what's on the back of it because I've got a really pretty much a photographic memory in those regards. But I cannot tell you where I put my glasses today. Now, they're probably here in my office someplace, and my office looks like, a windstorm just swept through it a couple hours ago. Probably sitting here laughing at me. I did think that I could do my best Chris Jordan imitation today. Hold on. What do you think? Do I have it on? I mean, or does he look a little more... I'd have to shave my head, of course, but that would be trite to imitate Chris Jordan. First pop of the day. But so instead, we'll just bear on, and thankfully, I memorized most of this stuff anyway. I'll tell you what, we are going to get to some neat stuff here. I've got another free pick on the Knicks Magic game. Chris Jordan's going to be so pissed. 27-14 run with the free picks after getting a winner again last night on the Memphis Grizzlies. So Knicks and Magic coming up. Also a money-saving discount coupon code. The biggest single-day money-saving discount coupon code in terms of dollars off I've ever given. $28. Why? Because I looked at the calendar today. It was March 28th, and I figured, hell, it's a good reason enough to give away $28. So that's what we're going to do today. $28 off a single purchase. Might as well take advantage of it, guys, right? And we'll talk about who's hot and who's not, although the latter certainly outweighed the former yesterday. And also about grading a game, because we had an interesting dilemma facing us last night with the Minnesota game against Washington in the NITs. But first, I want to tell you something. If you ever run into me, okay, in Vegas or anything like that, and there's three things that I really don't like talking about. Religion, politics, and believe it or not, sports. Okay? Listen, I do this every single day. I've done this every single day for 30 years. You think I want to really talk about sports on my off time? It's like, no. Generally, I don't even tell anybody this is what I do, because inevitably, then they want to know, well, what do you think of that? What do you think of that? What do you think of this? Oh, you used to be a reporter? What do you think of that? What do you think of this? Jesus. It's like when I was in college, I had to get a part-time job one year because my class load was just too tough. And I worked my way through college and sold high-end audio and video equipment at the time. But one year I decided I had to be, kind of take the slumlord route. So I went to work for a major department store and worked in the candy department behind the counter. Can you imagine me putting little rows of bonbons together in these personalized boxes? Guys, I did it. I made some beautiful displays of candy. I also was faster than anybody on the register. I mean, I type 140 words a minute. You should have seen me on cash registers. Yes, they used cash registers back in those days, back in the, a couple hundred years ago. But more importantly, I worked in a whole department full of women. Good move on my part, I got to tell you. Hated chocolate, though. After the first week, hated chocolate. Feel the same way about sports. So the other night, talking to my next door neighbors, they wanted to know, well, who were some of the famous people you met? And it's like, well, let's talk about the famous people I didn't meet. Because when I was a reporter, I mean, you want to talk about in the basketball, Bird, Magic, Jordan, Dr. J, Kareem, I mean, met them all. I mean, covered hockey for a while. I think, I met some supermodels like Carol Hawk because they were dating the New York Rangers. Much more impressive than meeting a bunch of Canadians that were missing their front teeth. No offense to you Canadian fans out there. Sorry. But it wasn't sports. A couple years ago, I'm in New York. I'm doing work for SNY, appearing on their Friday afternoonish Daily News Live, I think the program was called, doing football handicapping stuff. Well, they used to have, stars come through promoting books, etc. Of all the people that came through, Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed guys, Carl Weathers come in. I mean, it was amazing. People that were in the production facility that I never knew worked there for 2.5 years, suddenly they came out of the woodwork. I mean, the security guard comes over. He could not stop calling Carl Apollo. Apollo, my wife and I just love the movies. Apollo, my kid idolizes you. It's like, I'm going, his name's Carl, but that's okay. I'm sure Carl Weathers gets it all the time. Now, understand, a green room in most TV studios is this little place. Usually it's about 12 by 12, 10 by 10 if you're lucky, where everybody congregates before making their appearance before the show. You go in the makeup, you come back in the green room, they'll have coffee, drinks, some snacks, etc. Well, in New York, the green room was about 7 by 7. Okay? So he's there. He was promoting a movie called The Comebacks. Awful movie. David Koechner. You know him, bald-headed guy, appeared in Anchorman, a lot of the Will Ferrell movies, funny guy. He was there too. Nobody even noticed him. Nobody noticed him because Carl Weathers was the guy. So everybody's flocking around and flocking around. So finally the show starts. And that, I've been on the hallway watching this whole thing going on the whole time. So Carl Weathers is in there, David Kirkman is, and it's just me and him. So I walk into the room, hold my hand, introduce myself, and he says, he says to me, "Nice suit." Now I'm wearing this Armani suit. Do I look like a guy that cares whether I wear an Armani suit? I can't even say the word today. Not having the glasses and putting these things on and pretending I'm Chris Jordan, it has just flustered me. It's just ruined me for the whole, but really, serious, Chris Jordan. Looks like it, right? Bald head, seriously. Anyway, she says, "Nice suit." So what do I say? Snappy repartee, quick response. I say, "Love you in Action Jackson." Action Jackson, you ever see the movie? Vanity co-starred. He gives me this laugh. Now, if you watched any of the Rocky films, you know that laugh that Carl Weathers has. He gives me that laugh because everybody's been talking to him nonstop about Apollo Creed. Next thing, and I'm in my mind as he's laughing, I'm looking at this man going, "God, you looked a lot bigger when I see you up on the silver screen. Not big, muscular." Of course, that was also 30 years ago. I'm not going to look the same way, hopefully, in 30 years either if I'm still around, you know? So, that was my most pleasurable experience. Biggest person, most fun person I ever met. We chatted for like 5 minutes before we had to go on the show and stuff like that. But it was just kind of a cool meeting. Of all the people I've ever met, you know, that was probably the coolest meeting. Maybe tomorrow I'll talk to you about the biggest scumbags I've ever met. Okay, let's get to business here. What is business here today? And can I also tell you baseball, how easy it is to win in the first 3 weeks of the season, guys? Listen, baseball is my best sport. I think I've won. I have to go just double check here, but of course I won last year. I think that is now 12 of the last 15 seasons I've turned a profit in baseball. To me, baseball is easy. I've told you all along that every sport, the first 3 weeks of the season is easy, but baseball to me, start to finish, is just the easiest betting opportunity. Now, it has gotten a little more complicated over the years because you have such high prices with favorites. You know, the fourth starter in a rotation on a bad team that's 10 games under 500, if they happen to be playing at home, you're automatically a 165 favorite. That's just how the game has changed in the last 15 to 20 years. But you still find your bargains out there. You still find your underpriced favorites, and you find your nice dogs as well. And you can make money in baseball. But I've always maintained the first 3 weeks of any year is definitely when you can make the most money in any sport. For baseball, the key, and I'll tell you my secret to success, is that I chart how the pitchers do this week and last week during spring training. I never worry. I don't read. I don't follow. I don't give a damn about how teams or pitchers are doing the first 2.5 weeks of spring training. Pitchers are always ahead of hitters. You've got too many players in camp. You don't have starters going more than a couple of innings. You don't have most of the starting lineups in there facing them. But their second to last and their third to last outing of the spring, that's when your starters are doing their tune-up work. That's when your rosters have been narrowed down, you know, not to 25, but generally about 31, 32. So you have the closest thing that simulates real game experiences. So these are the times that you chart the pitchers. You look at them, and then you look at them and see who's going to come out the gate quickest at the start of the season. That's why the first 3 weeks it's so easy to turn a profit. So that's my little heads up there about baseball. As you know, the season got underway with the games in Japan, with Oakland and Seattle. Who gives a damn about them? Let's talk about basketball. Yesterday, Anthony Red unfortunately lost a 50-dime play on the Minnesota the Minnesota Timberwolves. Looked good. I mean, and then Memphis went on like a 20-8 run and put that game away last night for the Grizzlies as they pulled off the cover. But still, A-Red, over the past 70 days, 66-35 record. And in that span, a $10 player has won $11,307. He's still won 10 of the last 14 days. Tonight, back in college basketball, 25-dime winner number 21 out of 27. It's on Mercer and Utah State. He just had 25-dime winners on Louisville, outright over Florida, and Mercer outright I don't remember who they played. I think it was Fairfield on Saturday. This one is just as strong. That's from Anthony Red. Now, Jeff Benton, 8 straight winning days. Now, I said the same thing yesterday, but here's what happened. Jeff, like a lot of the handicappers here on the site, had the Minnesota Golden Gophers in last night's game in the NITs against Washington. Now, Minnesota opened up as a 1-point underdog in that contest. About 3:30, 4 o'clock Eastern time, suddenly Minnesota either dropped down to pick 'em or went up to a 1-point choice at some sports books. Then they quickly came down at the majority of sports books back to a pick'em game for the rest of the night. But because that line was -1 for a few hours at certain books, grading the games as I do, I told everybody you got to take a push on that game. So even though Jeff released that play way, way early in the morning, you could have bet it many, many hours in advance before the line moved, and you probably still won that game, as Minnesota won the game outright by 1. Everybody had to take a push. So Jeff Benton, looking for winning day number 9 in a row. 40-dime winner number 10 out of 14, Mercer and Utah State. Remember, he just had a 40-dime winner on Ohio State in round of 8 action over this past weekend. And 14 out of 18 winning days overall, including 18 in a row for Jeff Benton. Craig Davis, $10 players, have won $6,755 since February 1st to $5,245 the past 5 weeks alone. 30-dime NIT. I don't know what he has tonight, actually. I think he has a 20-dime play tonight from him. And Chris Jordan. You think I can resist? Chris Jordan, winning day number 7 out of 8. 7 out of 8 tonight. You know, the one day that he's lost in that 8-day period is the day that he had a monster 1,000 star play. That was the lone loser. What can I tell you? It happens sometimes. That was the Florida-Louisville game, in fact. $1 bettors are still up $1,500 over the past week if you've been following Chris Jordan. As for me, I lost my 15-dime play, which matched my biggest NBA play of the season last night on the LA Lakers. So those 15-dime plays are now 27, 14, and 3 over the past 3 years combined. Listen, your money-saving discount coupon code is going to be simple. March 28. March 28. That will save you $28 off a single purchase today. March 28. No space between March and the number 28. That'll save you $28 off. Your free pick, again, 27 and 14 run with the free picks, guys. I'm going to go with the Orlando Magic minus the 2 points. Maybe 2.5 by this game tipping off at 7:35 Eastern Time at New York. I know the Knicks are 7-1 straight up and against the spread since Mike Woodson took over. It's funny how Mike Woodson was not a player's coach because of his stern tactician ways in Atlanta, which hastened his exit from the Hawks. But in New York, he's the flavor of the month because he had the coaching change, and suddenly his more disciplined coaching style is working perfect for this team. Different strokes, different folks. It's all about being in the right time, right place at the right time, and Woodson is right now, at least, in New York. Listen, Orlando's won 3 in a row. They beat Phoenix, a red-hot Phoenix team, by 10 at home. 13 at home. They beat up the Cleveland Cavaliers, won by 16 at Toronto over in their last game a couple of nights ago. Meanwhile, Knicks, as I said, have won 7 of their last 8, but Jeremy Lin is out. Carmelo Anthony is banged up. Amari's out as well. This is a shorthanded team. Magic won the season's first meeting, January 16th, 102-93 at the Garden, shooting 49% from three-point range in that game, and it's a good thing because Dwight Howard did not have a good game in that particular contest, just 8 points and 10 rebounds and 6 turnovers as well. And that's the only reason that I'm not going with the Magic as my own best bet tonight. Because, listen, they are going to play him tough even without Amari in the lineup, because you got Tyson Chandler, who's going to be more than willing to bang and is athletic enough to push Howard further away from the bucket. And you know how much Howard loves to live in the paint, get the points on the easy dunks. That's why I have my doubts. And plus, even with Jeremy Lin out, this is a better supporting cast now with J.R. Smith, etc. Shumpert getting more playing time, more experience. Baron Davis back in the mix when he was out in the first game. So you have a more experienced New York supporting cast. But I still like Orlando because they've got Howard. They've got Ryan Anderson, who had career-high 8 three-pointers in that first game, coming off a 7 three-point effort in his last game against Toronto. He's shooting lights out of late, so I would go with the Magic in this one and lay the 2 points in this contest. Good luck, everybody, and I'll catch you again on Thursday. And FYI, Thursday is the first day that the charity play of the week can be considered eligible for play. We have to do it at least every 8 days. So if it may be tomorrow, it may be Friday, it may be Saturday, I don't know. I will definitely look, see what's out there, a good play from a hot handicapper. Make sure you watch the videos the next couple days, and we'll try to find the next charity play of the week selection. Good luck, guys. Catch you again tomorrow.